Choupo Moting, email gaffe rules Bayern Munich star out of Cameroon squad. Cameroon will be without Bayern Munich star Eric Choupo-Moting when they face Cape Verde and Rwanda in March's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The 32-year-old striker was among the names penciled in for the fixtures by coach Tony Conceição. However, an administrative error has cost him a place in the squad. According to German media outlet Bild, the former Paris Saint-Germain player never received any call-up as the Cameroonian Football Federation sent an invitation to the wrong email address. As a result of this, the indomitable Lions will be without Choupo-Moting when they square up against the Blue Sharks and the Wasps in their last two Group F fixtures. Meanwhile, the striker's father Camille has spoken to the media to defend his son, whom he claims was ready to play for the country. "I was contacted by the association to find out what was going on. I contacted FC Bayern and they confirmed that they had not received the invitation," he told Naja TV per Bavarian Fußballwerks. "It looks like she sent it to the wrong email address instead. For me, that's a lack of professionalism. When sending invitations, be sure to send them to the correct address. If that doesn't happen, I don't understand why it's the club's or Maxim's fault." Conceição's men will travel to Praias Estadio Nacional de Cabo Verde for Friday's game against Cape Verde before welcoming Rwanda to Douala's Japoma Stadium 4 days later. Cameroon, who have already qualified for the biennial African football showpiece as hosts, are unbeaten in all 4 games played in their group so far, winning 3 and playing 1 draw to lead the log with 10 points, 6 points ahead of closest challengers, Mozambique. The Blue Sharks are third with 4 points from the same number of games, while the Wasps, who sit at the base of the table with 2 points, must win their remaining 2 games convincingly to stand a chance of qualifying for the competition. The indomitable Lions' last AFCON outing in Egypt ended on a sour note after crashing out in the round of 16 after bowing 3-2 to Nigeria at the Alexandria Stadium. Youssoufa Moukoko turning 16 is a big deal in the USA. It's largely seen as a coming of age, with lavish parties thrown that can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Like those across the Atlantic, Youssoufa Moukoko was eagerly counting down the days to reaching that milestone in Germany. Rather than a big party on November 20, 2020 though, he was waiting in a hotel for his Bundesliga debut. In many ways, the morning after the night before was the bigger occasion. That was the date Moukoko made his debut for Borussia Dortmund, coming off the bench at Hertha Berlin for Erling Haaland. In doing so he became the Bundesliga's youngest ever player. If Haaland is a wonder kid, Moukoko is a wonder baby. He was born in 2004 in Yaoundé, the capital city of Cameroon, and was raised by his grandparents in the district of Briqueterie. When he was 10, he was brought over to Germany by his father Joseph. Settling in Hamburg, Moukoko joined the academy of local club FC St. Pauli in 2014. On turning up to his first training session he supposedly only had trainers, having to borrow boots from another player. "After only 5 minutes it was clear we would take him on," youth coach Jonah Luca told WA last month. Moukoko spent his first season in the under-13 team, winning numerous prizes at indoor tournaments. The next year he progressed to the U15s, netting 23 times in 13 games. Such phenomenal stats brought a move to current club Dortmund in 2016, and it just kept getting better. Moukoko began playing for BVB aged 12, scoring 40 goals in his first season. The next campaign was even better, 46 in 25 in the U17 Bundesliga West. Stepping up to the U19s last season, in his first match Moukoko scored 6 goals against Wuppertaler SV. In total the striker has found the net 141 times in 88 youth appearances for Dortmund. It's simply ridiculous. In January, he was fast-tracked into first-team training, despite not being eligible for most of the year. Dortmund were part of a group of clubs that successfully applied to the DFL to reduce eligibility rules in the Bundesliga to a minimum age of 16. In the 4U19 games Moukoko did play this season, he did rather well. A hat-trick versus Preußen Münster. Another against Wien Wiesbaden. Then 4 past Rot-Weiss Essen. 3 more in the Revierderby with Schalke. Against players up to 3 years his senior, it is simply unheard of. To put Moukoko into perspective, he was given Dortmund's number 18 shirt, synonymous with club legend Lars Ricken, and registered in their squad for 2020-21 despite not being allowed to play for 4 months. Last year, he signed a long-term contract with Nike, worth around €1 million per season. Coming on for the final 5 minutes of the aforementioned Hertha contest, after that game Haaland was full of praise. I think he's the biggest talent in the world right now. He's 16 years and 1 day old, that's amazing. He has a big career ahead of him. We're lucky to have him. Moukoko is much better than I was at his age, he added at a pre-season camp in Switzerland this summer. I have never seen such a good 15-year-old in my life. The advantage for him is that he's already playing for Dortmund at the age of 15. At his age, I was still playing for my hometown of Brine. On the subject of age, it is something Moukoko has been questioned about for much of his time at BVB. Things weren't helped when Dortmund's own U23 manager Timo Prias once claimed, "I can imagine that his age has only been guessed." His father has since presented legitimate documents to satisfy authorities, with Moukoko granted a German birth certificate in 2016. Given the skill Moukoko possesses, it's only natural people would question if such prowess could be real. Dortmund's former U19 coach Michael Skib said last year, "He's so young and already so good. He's got very good technique, speed, and finishes well. These are 3 strong qualities that come together. The boy will one day become a professional, that's as sure as a prayer in the church. Only injuries can stop him." Of course, Moukoko is not the first hyped-up child prodigy. The most glaring example is undeniably Freddie Adu. Chosen as first overall pick in the 2004 MLS Superdraft, he was dubbed the new Pelé at just 14. Adu was framed as the face of a fledgling MLS and taken around the world for high-profile trials despite being 7 years off legally buying alcohol. In the age of social media there has been a lot of talk, but so far Moukoko has taken it in his stride. Unlike Adu, he is settled at perhaps the best club in the world for turning promising talent into fulfilled potential. Alongside Giovanni Reyna, Haaland, Jadon Sancho and Jude Bellingham, Moukoko is in good company. Speaking on his attitude, Sebastian Gebhardt, BVB's U17's manager, said, "He's completely focused, brimming with ambition. He's one of the first to arrive at training and one of the last to leave. He's the first one to watch the video sequences we send to the players on their phones. Youssoufa invests an incredible amount. So far, the results have been encouraging. Since his Dortmund Moukoko has played 20 minutes in a 2-1 loss to Köln, second half away at Eintracht Frankfurt, and briefly in the 5-1 mauling by Stuttgart. He has also been named on the bench in 3 of Dortmund's Champions League games, making his debut in the competition last week. This substitute appearance at Zenit made him that tournament's youngest ever player too. In terms of where this prodigy will develop, it is likely down the middle. It's a slight issue BVB already have Haaland, but it's a nice problem for whoever replaces Lucien Favre as head coach. It is assumed Moukoko will initially play as understudy, in the meantime starting out wide such as his adeptness with both feet. Moukoko also benefits from sensible treatment by the DFB. Representing Germany rather than Cameroon internationally, he was only recalled to the international setup in September 2020 after a 3-year break. Speaking to the BBC, head coach of Germany's youth teams Michael Skonweitz explained. After Youssoufa's first international games at the under-16 level, the hype was so huge that, together with Dortmund,